Welcome to the Mojave Air and Spaceport meeting. Everybody turn on their mics, and if you will rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Director Balentine.
Hang on. Please follow me. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Please have it noted that all directors are in physical attendance with the exception of Director Painter. We now have to approve the agenda. Mr. Attorney.
Yes, Mr. Chair, thank you. I'm going to ask the board if they will add an item to the agenda 4C. It's resolution authorizing the general manager to submit an application for and accept a California Department of Motor Vehicles grant to install an electric vehicle charging station.
Good.
Because of staff transition, with some going out on leave and this item getting passed down, it did not get on the agenda, but the deadline for submitting this resolution to the DMV is the end of this month. And so we're going to ask you to add it to the agenda so we can take this action and get this grant going.
Okay.
This is a 4C.
Do I have a motion to approve the agenda without addition by the District Council?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Are there any community announcements? Being none, we move to the consent agenda. On that are the minutes of the regular board meeting of February 2nd and the check register dated February 12th.
Move to approve as indicated. Second.
Motion is second. Is there any public comment on this matter? Any other discussion by the board? There being none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. We now move to business items. A, approval auto policy renewal. Staff report.
Good afternoon. This is just our annual renewal for our, to cover our autos of the airport. I'm happy to report that our premium actually went down substantially, almost $5,000 this year over last year. So we ask for your approval on this policy.
Why did it go down?
I don't know that Duncan gave much of an explanation unless he just got additional.
We had several vehicles change out because we got rid of some of the older vehicles and then replaced them with the pickup trucks.
Good. Are there any public comments on this matter? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion is seconded. Any discussion?
Yeah, I got a couple of questions.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Alright, so I see just under 20 vehicles on here. Okay, and so that's $2,000 a vehicle per year. It's a little high, but I'm guessing that's probably because we have the $1 million liability. Is that?
Yeah, it's mostly the liability coverage and relatively low deductibles.
But a lot of these are stay on the airport vehicles too.
Many of them do, but they can. All of these vehicles can be driven off property, and a lot of them do. It's the heavy equipment that is under a completely different policy that stays on property.
Okay, and then vehicle 15 is not one I've heard of, but.
OED. It's a hybrid.
Alright, that's the only question I have.
Okay. Is there a motion?
You have a motion and a second by.
Oh, I did.
Deaver.
I'm sorry.
And,
Are there any other board questions? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
The motion passes. Any opposed? Being none, motion passes. Item B, approval of resolution declaring surplus property.
So two of our vehicles have very high mileage. These are two vehicles that were driven basically all day long. One of them was a security vehicle, and we got an estimate from Keith & Sons to replace the transmission on that. It's $8,600. It's just not worth replacing or repairing. We'd rather replace the vehicle at an appropriate time. We're not going to ask. Yes. We won't be asking to replace any vehicles at this time. We're going to make do with what we've got right now. And then the 2003 Ford 350 is the fire utility vehicle. And since we got the approved grant for the Humvees, which they're driving now, they're just going to drive the Humvees instead of the fire utility for the time being. and we're gonna see if that will work to replace the existing vehicle. So the estimates to repair fire utility were so far $6,000, and we weren't done collecting estimates on this, so we're just asking to declare them surplus so we can dispose of them properly.
The fire utility vehicle, is that the one with a special body?
That's the red truck.
Where are you gonna get rid of the special body?
Yeah, so most of that equipment they can place in the Humvees.
Oh,
And all of that, basically all that equipment on the Humvees we got through the grant, so we don't have to buy any new equipment for that.
Cool.
Is there any public comment on this item? Is there a motion?
Move approved.
Second.
First and second motion. Any discussion?
Yeah, I got a bunch of questions.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Alright, so the Ford Escape, how many miles are on it?
Do you remember, Kevin?
198,000.
Yeah, both of them had almost 200,000.
Okay, and is the 350 a diesel or a gas?
I think it's a diesel.
Diesel.
Yeah.
It's 200,000, not that many miles on a diesel, but, okay, so explain to me, where are the Humvees and when did we get these?
We got them through a Department of Defense grant. It's a lot of the excess equipment that's coming back from the military, and as a public agency, we're eligible for some of these grant opportunities. This is something that one of our part-time firefighters actually discovered and took advantage of. So he found the Humvees, he went down, picked them up. They're already here, so they've been using them since this truck's been down for the past couple weeks.
The 350 is broken?
Yeah.
What's broken on?
Do you remember what the 350 is?
It's I don't think it's it's not the transmission. That's the other one. It's engine problems. It didn't really specify what exactly it was, but it was 6,000 to get it running again, then to figure out if it needed more work.
Okay, but you said then you're gonna see if the Humvees work, and if it will replace this vehicle, but we're declaring it excess, we're gonna get rid of it, so if the Humvees don't work, then we don't want this vehicle to come back.
At some point, we may have to replace the vehicle, but for now, we don't see any reason the Humvee won't work for this issue. And we think that they'll be a lot better than this, than the fire utility, because a lot of these vehicles are driven on the backside, on the north side of the property, and there's just so much wear and tear these vehicles have to take, so the Humvees are much better suited for that.
Okay, and the reason we're moving out now to declare these surplus property rather than letting them sit for a bit of time, what's the rationale?
We try to not collect a bunch of junk cars. This Ford Escape's been sitting for a couple of months now, so we're just trying to clean it up.
Is there any value in keeping it as a trade-out vehicle?
I think without,
We've done that before. I don't know if they're gonna.
That I can speak about that. That grant isn't worth it anymore, and also it's off how much the vehicle has been driven. But they completely changed that grant, which is what the resolution why we're going to car charging stations this year as well. You just don't get as much money anymore. But it is off of how much they've been driven. So if they're just sitting there, you wouldn't get anything from the grant.
Right, you personally looked at the F-350?
I didn't personally look at it, no, my staff did.
Are you gonna save the body, keep the body? That was a special, I thought that was specially built for spaceship, or for the...
It's not that one.
Oh, it's not that one?
No, it's not that one.
Okay.
And
I go with your recommendation, I just, diesels don't wear out, I mean, you know, not that old of a truck for diesel, a lot of money.
Apparently they're expensive to fix.
Are there any other questions? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Motion passes. We move to item C.
All right, you guys. You want to explain the DMV grant?
Alright, so normally, like I said, we put in for the vehicles, but this year the vehicle grants, Harold can talk to that, they don't,
Used to be a 50-50 match or better. Now they give you a couple $1,000s. Depends on what tier vehicle you get, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. We used to get grants for $12,000, $14,000.
and this car charging station is up to 50,000 at 100%. So it's a much better grant opportunity, which is why we're putting in for it. And this resolution is to get permission for us to put in for the grant.
Just for the application? at this
Correct.
point?
Correct.
Is this a charging station the district can use if we have vehicles?
Correct.
We have electric vehicles, sure.
This resolution is not just for putting in the application for the grant?
if you look at item number 2, it authorizes the general manager to take all steps necessary to apply for and accept the grant, including execution of an agreement with the DMV.
Yeah, I don't have this.
Where's it gonna be installed?
So that's, it's to be determined. We're hoping that it'll be as close to the front of the building as possible, but we just have to wait until ChargePoint or the other vendor, whoever the county really ends up going with, can come in and determine what infrastructure is needed and what's already there. So worst case scenario, we could put it over where the old solar farm was, because there's a lot of infrastructure over there.
Is there any public comment on this matter?
Well, I'm not through.
Well, you're not public.
Well, I thought this was a board comment right now.
Okay. Well,
Anyway,
I'll let you because I'm a nice guy.
right out here where they put in all the wiring and everything, and that would be good for people coming into the restaurant.
That's what we're hoping. We're hoping that it'll work out really close to the building.
Explain one more time, so up to 50,000 at 100%.
Correct.
So if you get the grant, you definitely get 100% up to 50,000. Or do they hand out some lower number? The grant could only be for 10,000.
Whatever you submit, one charging station is 12.5 plus installation, so if you get 2, you're probably gonna go over that 50,000. So,
Okay, but we can't, we're not gonna get in a scenario here where we get approved for a grant and then we have to kick in 30,000 because the charging station's 70 or something.
Well, we'd have to accept it at that point. If that was the case, we wouldn't accept it.
This is a again, or maybe this is more details down the road, but these are rapid charging station, or these are one of these 8 hours charging stations?
no, 30 minutes to an hour.
And these are available to anybody that has hybrid? Is there a fee involved? Is
Yes,
charge?
there would be a fee.
And that revenue goes where?
Well, it would be whatever the kilowatt hour is, they'd pay for that, whatever Edison's charging you, and then we could put an overage fee on it to make money if we wanted to.
So since we're paying the electric bill, we would collect the fee, the revenue for it.
Can you do this with credit
So
card?
we have control over that rate.
Right.
Correct.
Cool.
And I did speak with Michelle Vance, the city of Tehachapi, and they're very happy with the charge point systems they have there and how they work in Tehachapi.
Well, there's one here in Mojave, because I know someone who uses it to charge his Tesla.
There's
Two.
there's
There's
6 of
Teslas.
them.
Yeah.
And then the
So
highway
charges
patrol
is-
has one for their inside defense for their troops and one outside defense for the public. Actually, there's 2 on pole when they put in the new CHP station.
So Harold mentioned charging stations singular, this does one vehicle?
No, 2 cars, one pole, like
Okay.
Bill
Yeah,
just said,
like
one
CHP,
takes
yeah.
2. So it just depends on what the bid comes, to how many we can apply for.
Okay. I get it.
Is there any public comment? There being none, is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Deaver,
Second.
second by Mr. Balentine. I think we've had all of our discussion. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? There being none, motion passes. Mr. Browse, do you want to give us a report?
Sure. Looking at the treasurer's report first, this again is a reflection of the activity in the bank accounts. So for the general fund, we've gone from $1,309,000 to $1,063,000, about $1,064,000. So some decline this month because of some extraordinary cash flow expenses, outflows. County Treasury, we picked up some additional tax proceeds leaking in after the December tax proceeds. So that's gone from $1,273,000 to $1,288,000. And the LAIF, they credited our interest for the second quarter, our second quarter, their fourth quarter. And so that's an amount of about $4,500. So the LAIF is now sitting at $4,853,000. So total cash funds available as of January 31, $7,204,794.64. Any questions about the?
What were the extraordinary expenses?
We had several actually, and I'd like to speak to that a little more when we get to the treasurer's report, which is right now. So I'm looking at the, the revenue expense report. So the colored report. Revenues in January at 673,042 with expenses at 876,29. And even though this is accrual basis, this does reflect some extraordinary expenses, particularly when you compare January to December, and you see in the colored stacked chart there that the revenue has gone down from December to January, and the expenses have gone up from December to January. So, in short, on the revenue side, the decrease is attributable to the fact that the December revenues are larger than normal because of tax proceeds. And so, in fact, what we're looking at in January as far as revenues is pretty typical month. On the expense side, we had a low month in December, and that's reflected in that we had some post-cutoff expenses attributable to December that we posted in January, and so they are reflected in the January report, even though they're attributable to December. And the unusual expenses, there are a few. We had the CEO transition, and on the other side, we bought less fuel, so there are fewer expenditures for fuel. And then some other expenses, the party for Stu, we had some wind damage expenses. In December, we had actually the CSF dues that were paid, and so that is not reflected in January, so that moves it the other way. We had the DWP consultant. We had some special filming going on. I understand it was a BMW commercial, and so we provided security for that. Those funds would be reimbursed. The video production, and in addition, for some reason in December, we had not yet booked our Hangar 79 expenses, and so it's doubled up in January. So those are the unusual expenses.
So a couple questions.
Yeah.
So specifically to the BMW item and to the wind damage, so you've expensed those items rather than setting them up as a receivable if they would be reimbursed? I'm assuming we're getting some reimbursement insurance-wise.
Yeah, traditionally that's the way it's been done. I have not yet changed that.
Traditionally, it's been expensed?
It's been expensed, and then the revenue, when the reimbursement comes in, it comes in as revenue. And that's the way it's been done here. You have a very good point, and I am addressing these things gradually.
That's why I asked.
I take them on. Yes, the question is it really revenue?
Well,
It's the way they've treated it.
Yeah, it just throws it off when I'm looking at it, saying, wait, what happened?
Yeah.
Okay, are there any other questions by the board?
I think the BMW would be all revenue, and then you have expenses coming out.
The BMW is revenue.
Yeah, but he was talking about reimbursement security costs.
Security for the filming.
Irrespective, it can go either way, but the way it's lined up, it doesn't match.
Yeah.
All right.
Correct.
Okay, no other questions? Ms. Drees, go ahead and give us your report.
So I've included my written CEO report in the packet. I'm happy to answer any questions about that. In addition, there's a couple other things I just wanted to mention. I did mention to the board last meeting that I had a meeting scheduled with our insurance broker to do a risk assessment. That's been postponed. He couldn't make it this week, so we'll be meeting in a couple of weeks now. And then just a point of clarification, this came up last board meeting regarding Stu's contract, and I just wanted to clarify a couple of things. The total value of that contract, or what was disclosed as a maximum, I should say, not value, was CalPERS requirement as a maximum, and that's the only reason we wanted to disclose it, was as a CalPERS maximum. I have no intention of using him that much. I couldn't come up with enough projects to use him that much. But the reason that I wanted to get that contract through quickly is because of this FAA issue that we're still working. That he's going to continue working for us when we need him. So we have the DWP consultants that were working on this power line issue going on around the airport, and through some discovery we learned that some of these encroachment concerns we have are a lot worse than we expected, and so we're trying to put some additional protections in place to make sure that we don't have to deal with these encroachment issues in the future. So I wanted to get this contract through in the event that we needed to act quickly on something. if there were another issue that came up with this particular project or something related. So that's the only reason I was eager to get that through quickly, and I just wanted to make a comment on that. I'm happy to answer any questions on the report or any other comments.
So
You're not gonna be at the next board meeting?
Oh, that's correct. So I have a Commercial Spaceflight Federation meeting in Washington DC. I'll be gone. I'll be out of the office almost that whole week. I'll be back on Friday. So Kevin will be acting general manager in my place.
Take your warm clothes with you.
No.
Thank you very much. Mr. Balentine, do you want to give a report on our ad hoc committee meeting?
We did meet today. It was staff, Dr. Evans and I, also Scott Navé, our counsel. We have some concerns that we brought up regarding the methodology in which the district's proposing a method to be billing us. We've directed counsel to work with their attorney stating our position. I think our goal is to try and come up with some sort of flat rate rather than an arbitrary. It seems to be quite a bit of a swing every month, just kind of depending on some numbers that we're not in agreement or accurate. Dave, if you want to add anything, I didn't give as much thought to you said so.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch you up there. I think you covered it.
Is this the MPUD thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, there's discussion between the Mojave Public Utility District staff, management, and ours regarding what we pay versus what they feel we should pay, and we're digesting those comments from them, and our attorney is in touch with their attorney, and we're trying to resolve it quickly and amenable to all parties, because we feel it's important that we have a good working relationship with them, and I'm sure they feel the same. And so we've given, as Mr. Balentine stated, our counsel, and we're depending on staff to go through with what they had stated. There's nothing super remarkable in the matter, and that's really the report. Okay, any board of director comments?
Do we have any?
That we want to move on this and get it resolved as quickly as possible. We don't want it hanging out there.
So it's possible we could have a, next meeting we might have
It's possible.
something to bring to the board.
It's possible. We don't want to leave
We want to
them.
get it right.
Yeah, we want to get it right
There's some
for them and
questions
for
in
us.
there,
Okay, are there any director comments?
Yeah, I've got one, Saturday, Plane Crazy, Roy Martin, a former Northrop Grumman chief test pilot, is gonna talk about the Shape Sonic Boom demonstration, first ever flight demonstration of sonic boom shaping to quiet the sonic boom, funded by DARPA. That will be at 11 o'clock in this room, should be interesting. Also, I don't know whether this has come up here or not, but the Career Service Center is gonna hold a job fair at the WIC building on Thursday, March 10th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. These have always been very successful, and looking forward, should be a lot of people coming forward.
Thank you very much. Is there any public comment on items not on the agenda?
Yeah.
Right now?
Yes, right now. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Matt Steinmetz. First, a couple of apologies, so board lady and gentlemen of the board. So I've been meaning to come to this meeting for about 2 months now to discuss the item on the agenda for Hangar 990. So a couple of apologies. First, I didn't intend to drag this out for as long as it has. I've been meaning to come. Life gets in the way. I wanted to meet you guys face to face and just kind of talk initially and just say, hi, I'm Matt. I'm working to buy Hangar 990. Number two is I didn't intend to drag this out forever. I own another hangar here on the airport. I worked at scale. I've been here 18 years. I'm committed to the community, committed to business opportunities, all that here in Mojave. So Hangar 990 has some additional properties, and I understand the airport's trying to sync up, properties outside the hangars and all that, and I definitely understand and respect that. So I love to say I've got grandiose visions like everybody. I would like to utilize those properties for as long as in the hangar, but I'm also a realist. I've seen a lot of business and dealt with a lot of stuff here at scale, so I have grandiose visions, but at the same time, 5, 10, 20 something years, the board will be different. My use of the facilities, the extra properties outside the hangar, may fizzle up and dry out. And so what I've been trying to do, I have a very good relationship with the airport, Karina and Stu before her and Kevin and others, and I'm trying to negotiate to try to get, I think, the best for both the board, the airport, and myself. I'd love to think that I'll have a need for that property for the duration of my lease on the hangar, but the reality is, in the next few years, it could fizzle up and dry away, and I don't want to be tied to that property if in 20 years I don't need it anymore. So I'm just trying to reach the best agreement between the board and the airport and myself to try to just have as many options open as to me and the airport as well. So I know Karina is prepared to talk about it again. Again, I just want to apologize that it's come back up so many times. I'd hoped to address this way back when this all started, but life has kind of crept up and gotten in the way. So happy to answer any questions if you have any, or kind of tell you where I'm at on the thing.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for your comments, Steinmetz.
Very
welcome. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, we move to closed session.